Game's finally here.
Yo, that's right! The game is here! We take it over! Are you ready? It's definitely mad time up in this month! EA Games is all up in here! Did you know Peacock is good people? Yeah, you know how we do! Y'all man ready to take it to EA Sports is in here!
Happy Thursday, everybody. Your commish, Mo Money, Mike Mo, doing his weekly picks. Tried to wait an extra day today just to see if there was any new injury updates happening. Unfortunately, nothing much as far as the whereabouts of a few key players that would make a difference this week. However, I will still push through, make my picks as usual, continue on for my 10-8 record. I am now above 500 and plan to stay that way for the rest of the year. Although after looking at the games this week, this may be the toughest week yet. I just want to say that. I also wanted to give you the Madden 2005 little prelude to my session here, as some of us are getting ready to jump into the Madden season. Doug is setting that up. If anybody else wants to hop in, Xbox 360. Also, I do appreciate everybody's new video posts recently. Gotten quite a few. Doug posted a few. I believe Dustin was on there. Hurricane from Hurricane's Tavern along with Jordy hopped on. Like to see the extra feedback. Like to see people's thoughts and feelings. Hopefully we get a lot more of that. So let's go into my picks. As you see, CJ Spiller, New Jersey. I like him. Alright, into my picks for the week though, nonetheless. First game, we have a Forte Yard Dash versus Team 10. I think we all know who I'm going to pick. Forte Yard Dash, myself. Looking to go 3-1, I will pick myself. While Team 10 looks to possibly be dropping to 0-4. As I'm looking at the lineup situation here, I'm actually not favored by that much via the NFL projections. However, who even cares about NFL projections at this point? Especially when they have Dwayne Bowe at 17 points, which we all know he probably won't have that. Nonetheless, injuries injuries and bye will probably even hurt Team 10 a little bit more than what he has been hurt recently. Steve Smith has a bye, one of his top wide receivers. Also, Chris Ivory looks like he's going to be out as well for the week. So, and he's on top of that starting Ben Tate, which he is in a 50-50 split. However, that does not mean too much as far as fantasy football. He also is starting Rob Gronkowski. Again, we don't know if he's going to play. According to "You're an Idiot" by Dustin, it doesn't look like he's going to play this week. Also, the Bears, well, I will say this. The one thing he may have is the Bears are playing the Lions this week, and he has Marshall and Jeffrey, so he may have a ton of points as a result. My team looks like some consistency all the way throughout here, between running back, quarterback, wide receiver. I'm pretty much in double digits for every one of these guys. I look to have a big week. So, Forte Yard Dash over Team 10. In Game 2, we have Duke and the Prodigy. This is my Mo's Money Picks upset of the week. I'm taking Duke for his first victory over the Prodigy for a couple reasons. One, a lot of people are talking a lot of trash right now about Tom Brady. 5.5 yards per pass at this point. However, he could be getting some key players back, and his rookies are starting to play a little bit better. I think he has a really big game against Atlanta. It's going to be in good weather, in a dome. I think it's in a dome. Maybe it's not. I'm not even sure. I think it's in Atlanta. And also a few maybe breakout performances. Calvin usually plays decent against the Bears, especially with Tillman hurt. And I will put an asterisk by this upset, actually, now that I'm looking in deeper to it. I asterisk this based on if A, Ray Rice plays, and B, Amendola does not. If so, then Duke will win. If not, I'm picking the Prodigy. We're gonna stop right there. As far as Prodigy goes, Trent Richardson still continues to be a question mark as far as what his key role is, according to Fantasy Football Now online today. It looks like it's still going to be about 60-40 going with Bradshaw. So Richardson's value isn't as high as it should be. St. Louis has played some decent defense, and Kaepernick's not playing very well right now, so it could also hurt his big guy that could have a great game. A couple of them, actually. Wes Welker and Alfred Morris. Morris is against a porous Oakland Raiders defense. Welker against Philly. Philly can't stop anybody really at this point. Not to mention their offense is going up and down the field. This could be a very high-scoring game between Denver and Philly. But, like I said, upset of the week, Duke over the Prodigy, barring those two little asterisks. Next game, we have the Vinegar Strokes against Pierce Brosnan. This week, the Vinegar Strokes is looking particularly strong. I do think A.J. Green gets matched up with Hayden over Cleveland, so I don't think he's going to have quite as huge a game as usual. However, as we go back to the Denver-Philly game, McCoy figures to have a great game. Indianapolis plays Jacksonville, so everybody knows, again, according to Dustin's segment, that Jacksonville is the worst team in the NFL. However, Cleveland is trying to fight for that as they keep trading away all their players. I don't think he gets another big game from Zach Miller, but Sproles, Josh Gordon, Eric Decker could all make up for that. He has some players that are playing in some very high-scoring offensive games this week. Pierce Brosnan, his players just haven't came to their full potential. Miles Austin looks like he has another hammy injury possibly. C.J. Spiller, still struggling overall this year. Hopefully he's starting to break out soon. He's my boy, so I hope so. Drew Brees draws a tough Miami D. It's just going to be a tough week overall, I think, for Pierce Brosnan, and that's why I'm taking the Strokes. And probably a landslide. Next game, we got Ditka and the Renegades of the Rectals. I'm going to take Rectal over Ditka here. Unfortunately, it looks like Ditka is going to continue to drop to 0-4. Rectal Renegades, another team that's looking very strong, especially with Peyton Manning, as we talked about the other day. Going against Philly, they're going to score a lot of points. Maybe this is a week Maurice Jones-Drew gets off of his keister and actually does something. MJD, last time he played Indianapolis, had over 150 yards. Keep that in mind. Julio Jones continues to be the go-to man out in Atlanta because Roddy White is still nursing this ankle injury. Evidently a high ankle sprain has for 3 months. Who even knows at this point? And also Powell. Powell ended up being a great pickup for Rectal. I believe has him for $1 for a couple of years, but he's going to be starting this week since Ivory is not doing anything at this point. He's not even practicing. Dick is going to counter with a couple possibilities at some huge games. One will not be Matthew Stafford against Chicago. He will throw a few picks, I'm sure. But he just has a lot of young guys on his team looking to possibly break out. Marlon Brown, still trying to figure out what's going on with him. Reggie Wayne does play well against Jacksonville. That could be a little keynote for him to hopefully get a few more extra points than usual. But it's mirrored by a lot of inconsistency, some young guys. He really needs to probably make a few moves here one way or the other just to see what's going to happen for the rest of this year, because if he drops to 0-4, playoffs are not looking good overall for him. So, Rectal Renegades over Ditka. Game 5, we have whatever Kia matchup of the week or whatever, according to Eric. But it looks like it's the Fence Hopper in the final answer. A couple things are going to hurt the Fence Hopper this week. He does have Aaron Rodgers on a bye, luckily for the answer. So Fence Hopper will be playing some backup players here. But he still has AP going against Pittsburgh. The Bears scored 40 on Pittsburgh, for goodness sakes. Bears haven't scored 40 in years. So keep that in mind. Yote Bell, back to his backup role. I think he'll still put up a decent amount of points. So Julian Thomas against Philly, again, one of those big games, big scoring type games. Well, the answer is going to be countering with Donald Brown starting this week. Third string running back for the Colts. Just to give you an idea, that's where his team's at right now. He is also starting Mercedes Lewis, Darius Hayward-Bay. Unless he has some huge games from some big players, a.k.a. Roethlisberger, Arian Foster, Andre Johnson, Larry Fitz, who's also hurt, I don't even see this one being close. It looks like Fence Hopper goes to 4-0. And finally, in the last game, according to the projections, this is going to be a huge upset. But again, we talked about the projections being horrible. We have the Fisters against the Dutch Oven. This one would also be an upset, but I am going to take Fisting over Dutch Oven. I know Dutch Oven made a couple big moves recently. Been very active in the league, but he is going to be starting his two new guns, Demaryius Thomas and Bernard. Both great matchups this week for him. Also has Antonio Brown coming off a big game, and it looks like Hilton's going to start playing even a bigger role too. Fisting, however, is going to be countering. He has Reggie Bush coming back this week. Des Bryant set for a big week. If Romo and Bryant keep meshing, getting a touchdown here and there, that's basically how Fisting's team's going to go since he has both of them. This could also probably be the closest game overall just because of the talent level on each team. I don't really see a horrible or bad matchup on any of these guys. Even Lamar Miller, who's set up at the least amount of points for Fisting, is playing New Orleans. So I think we're going to have a lot closer battle than anybody thinks. But I will take the Fisters in an upset, in which case he would be going 4-0 and Dutch Oven dropping at 2-2. So just to recap, I got Forte this week. One of the upsets, Duke over Prodigy with the asterisks. Another upset, the Fisters, the Fisting, unnecessary Fisting, over Dutch. You had the Fence Hopper, Rectal Renegades, and the Vinegar Strokes. Games start this evening, as we talked about. I'm even thinking about taking back this segment to Friday or Saturday, just because it's hard for me to go ahead and do this based on all these different game day decisions and whatnot. Let me know your thoughts on that. I did get a little bit of feedback on the trophy situation. We have talked about this a few different weeks now. I mean, if you guys want, I'll make the decision, but I wanted everybody to be a part of it. Thank you for those who have done feedback and have responded onto the sites. I also sent out the new spreadsheet today that should have all the contracts right, should have all the money right, all the trades in there, so make sure you take a look at that so you know where you are as far as free agency, or if you're in the middle of making any trades as well. Alright, gentlemen, appreciate it. Bear down this week over the Detroit Lions. Hopefully everyone has a nice weekend of football, and we'll talk to y'all soon. Peace.